Infernal Blessings, back with another short 20 plus minute video or so, somewhere in that area. Anyway, before I begin, a couple quick announcements. If you're interested in signing up for any of the classes that I offer, as I say, people constantly reach out. What kind of classes do you offer? How can I sign up? I offer a wide variety of classes on various different occult topics. On the Patreon page, I will pretty much cover anything you can think of for the most part. We have a bunch of ongoing series on there. We have Luciferian Magic and Self-Mastery class. This thing keeps tilting. We have the Telepathic Sorcery class. We have the Sith classes. We have the Ancient Egyptian Vampiric class. We have the Esoterical Occult Bible Study class, the Kundalini Meditation and Awakening class. We have the Eastern Left-Hand Path Occult class. These are just to name a few. This thing keeps... hold on one sec. Let me fix this real quick. This thing ain't staying right. Here we go. So there's a bunch, and others, those are just some of the ones I can think of off the top of my head. So there's a bunch of ongoing series on there that have been ongoing. So if you join the Patreon, you get access to all the classes that are archived before you join, and then everything moving forward. But that's the way to get in on the classes that I offer. I do 3 classes every month just for Patreon members only. And it also gives you access to the group ritual we do at the end of the month. So again, patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti, tier 3. That's the tier you want to join. That's going to give you access to all those classes, and it's going to give you access to the group ritual. If you're interested in a spiritual reading or a spiritual consultation, the various different readings I offer, Telepathic Demonic readings, Egyptian Oracle readings, Santa Muerte readings, shadow work readings, which is dealing with uncovering the shadow or the hidden self. It definitely points you in the direction of what ritual work you need to be focusing on in the current moment in your life. Deity readings to see what demons, gods, and goddesses walk with you. For a full list of readings or how to book a reading or a consultation, shoot me an email at khnum19@gmail.com. and I will get that information over to you. Also, the 6th annual Journey of the Black Adept Conference is in full effect. You can sign up and register for that now, either attending in person, which is the October 19th to the 22nd. We have a meet and greet on Thursday night, the 19th, followed by classes and workshops and presentations on the 20th and the 21st, which is Friday and Saturday. And then we return both on 9 to 4 of those workshops and classes on Friday and Saturday. We come back in the evening to do a group ritual together, followed by a group dinner and some hanging out, socializing, listening to music, and having some fun, just kicking it. All right, and then Sunday the event closes out noon to 4 p.m. With a question and answer class that I'll be doing to close out the event. You could also attend virtually, which gives you access to the classes on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Either one, shoot me an email, and I'll send you the information for whichever one or both that you request at khnum19@gmail.com. Also, keep in mind all this new content is being uploaded to the Primordial Chaos podcast, which is can be located on Spotify and all major podcast platforms. The direct link to the podcast is in the description box of this video, along with my email address to contact me, along with the direct link to the Patreon class at patreon.com/Baniti to sign up for classes and join the Primordial Chaos page. So everything you need is there in the description box if you forget. All right, having said that, I'm kind of going to break down a couple things. This comes up. I've talked about this in previous videos, but I'm going to just focus on this in this video because emails always come through. People still, no matter how much you talk about it sometimes, no matter how much you go over it, it's just, unfortunately, and I say that very loosely, some people just still don't get it, okay? So you get this when people come on this path. One of the questions is, we don't deal with spookism, correct? We don't believe in no mystery God that sits up somewhere in the clouds, some God in the land of make-believe that's sitting in the sky in this place called heaven, controlling every aspect and facet of our life and creation, right? That's spookism. That's blind faith and belief. That's mythology, and none of it can be proven. And it's the number one tool they use to keep people mentally enslaved. Belief in a spook God or a mystery God that you can't prove exists, right? So we can't approach deity on this path in the form of worship, say as somebody in monotheistic religions do. As I said in previous videos, we don't use, that form of prayer, how they use it in those religions. And I went over that prayer, invocation, and how they differ. Okay. So first and foremost, when approaching working with deity, spirit, God or goddess or demon, you don't want to approach it in a monotheistic mindset. So the question comes up, when we're talking about archetypes like Belial, when we're talking about Abaddon, Lilith, Samael, Kali, etc., are they actual real entities, real beings, real deities, real gods, real goddesses? Because we're referring to them as that. We're using these titles. So are they actually real? And this is where people sometimes get confused, because sometimes they'll go to the first Hermetic principle, all is mental, mental is all, the universe is mental, and they don't understand it in its full context. Okay? So let me help clarify for people that are trying to really grasp this or struggling to grasp this. Okay? Because you have some people say, well, no, they're just symbolic. It's not literal. It's just, something that you connect with on a symbolic level. It represents, and they're right about this portion here, it represents an aspect of your psyche or your subconscious mind. And they're 100% right. They're wrong when they're saying they're not literal and it's symbolic. I keep trying to tell you guys, are they literal? Yes, there is a literal aspect. Is Belial, is that a real entity, spirit, or demon? Yes, it is. Okay, but what you got to understand when it comes in context to you and your connection, and let's just say with Belial or whoever, I'm just using that as an example. As I've said before, you shape and create that manifestation of Belial in your mind. Because in essence, these demons and gods and goddesses, they are energy beings or etheric beings. Beings of energy that manifest, can slow down their spiritual vibration and frequency and manifest in physical form. Or in an energy form or spirit form, they can enter through the crown chakra of an individual and possess them, right? So there's many ways they can manifest and form, and you have to understand in your true essence, that's what you are. You've lost that ability, that awareness of being that God or goddess or that supreme being. Once you come to the realization, at one point, you too will become that's called upon and invoked to work with for assistance, etc. But you've lost your way, okay? You've lost your understanding because you struggle to embrace the divinity that resides within you. So you doubt and you ask questions because you're still in a worship and a servitude state of mind. So the way you connect with deity and spirit is how you establish your relationship with them, your understanding in your ritual work. As long as you don't approach it from a worship and groveling and praying mentality like a religious person, if you understand, we invoke these spirits and demons to embody and become what they represent, and we utilize these energies or spirits or demons to assist us in our magical work, because we've recognized and acknowledged that the same power that resides in them exists within us. We have that same ability. It's hard for some of us to accept that because we've been taught and programmed from day one that you're just a mortal human being, and you're inferior to these forces that exist outside yourself. So how they manifest is everything you've absorbed in your subconscious mind about them. When they take, whether it's in a meditation, a ritual, a visualization you might have had, and you say, well, if they're not literal or real, why did I have a vision and Bilal came to me and he communicated to me? And he did. But remember, that was a manifestation from your subjective consciousness and how you connected with Bilal or with any other spirit. So the energy is real. Anybody that's telling you it's all symbolic, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Okay? I keep trying to tell you guys it's a combination of both. But when they take an anthropomorphic form and how they manifest to you, when they take that shape and form, that's very personal and subjective. Because your subconscious mind, these, if you understand the power that you have and these spirits have, they have the ability to read your subconscious mind. And just by tapping in to your thoughts, they will manifest how they're able to tap in your thoughts, how you, in your mind, you are visualizing them and seeing them. Because really, you have a preconceived notion and a vision of them, whether you're conscious of it or not. So they're going to take shape and form when you see an image of them based on what you've fed the subconscious mind, based on the information you've stored there. Okay? So I want to make it 100% crystal clear. They are very real. But the relationship you establish with them is very personal. Okay? We don't accept the reality of them again like a mainstream religion does the God of the Bible, where that's just pure mythology. Because you can say, well, if I go tell somebody that Bilal is real and I saw Bilal and experienced Bilal in a meditation or a ritual work, isn't it the same thing if I go tell them Bilal is real and they don't have any proof of it other than what I'm saying? Yes, that's religion. But this is the difference of what we do. We're not trying to convince others of our personal experiences. The only confirmation you need that you're on the right path, the only results you need to confirm is for yourself. So it's not about, like religious people want to do, they want to convince the world that their biblical God is real. And there's millions of people who don't believe that nonsense and know it's fiction and it's mythology, but they still want you to believe it's real. We're not forcing anybody to accept what we experience in the subjective realm in our spiritual or ritual work. That's the difference. So as long as Bilal is real to you, as long as Lilith is real to you, as long as Lucifer in whatever form he manifests is real to you, that's all that counts. So you can say, well, Christian could say the same thing. There's Christians that say they saw Jesus in a vision. Now, let me show you that it works the same process. Now, let me ask you a question. Most times when people describe an image of a spirit, a god or a goddess or a prophet or Jesus, they always give a description of some way you can find in either some type of artwork, a picture, or a form. Because how they see and connected to it is what was stamped in their subconscious mind. And what they fail to realize is when you're feeding yourselves images and pictures of religious figures, and we're using monotheism, in this case, let's say Jesus, right? And you received some message or you had some vision from Jesus in a meditation. Now, the question I pose, as I said before, are Jesus and the adversary and Lucifer the same energy, but just different polarities of the same thing? So, yes, you can manifest how you see that energy. It's no different, for an example, when if you over the years, whether you've seen it in magazines, the internet, we've seen many stories where people claim to have seen an apparition or a vision of the Virgin Mary. And all of them pretty much describe it the same exact way. Okay? There's nothing that stands out as unique or different. She had on all white and blue, and she had the veil over her head. This is all imagery that was stamped there from artwork, pictures, movies. They're not saying anything that stands out as anything unique or different. Okay? Your manifestation of spirit, say in this case Belial, if you've again done your research, people that have had visions or seen Belial, there's various different aspects of Belial and how he's visualized. Now there could be elements that are connected and are very similar, yes, but it's not the same thing. There's not this consistent across the board similarity that everybody's seeing it and experiencing it the same way. That's how you know it's bullshit. Okay? Because as I said before, your journey is very personal. It's unique. Though you may have similarities with others along the way, but that uniqueness always stays intact. And you're going to experience things that are only for you. And that's what makes it unique, because it's your personal experience. So the point that I'm trying to make, these Christians that have these apparitions of the Blessed Virgin Mary, they all describe the same thing. And it makes you question and wonder, is somebody purposely putting this information out there consistently because they got an agenda? That's a whole nother story. Okay? So, whether you're new on this path, whether you've been on this path for many years, I'm not telling you how you should perceive the demons and the spirits and the gods and the goddess. Because I know there's going to be some that say, oh, they're not real, they're just symbolic. I don't accept them as real. And that's fine. If that's how you want, if that works for you and that's how you embrace it, look, I'm not telling you what you should and should not accept. All, again, I can tell you is what I've confirmed through my work. They're very real. Okay? Their presence can be felt. The visual experience with them can happen and manifest. So don't get caught up, because some people get confused with that first principle of mentalism in the Hermetic principle. All is mental. Mental is all. The universe is mental. That still holds play, based on what I'm saying. Okay, because when you go into a meditation, a visualization, some type of ritual work or some type of inner focus, you have to tap into your mind and your thoughts. So does that still not validate that first principle? It still all starts in the mind. Because think about it. When you go into meditation or ritual work, you've got to take some deep breaths, relax, get your breathing and circulation going, and go into the inner depths of your subconscious mind to connect in your ritual or your spiritual work, whether that's meditations, whatever it may be. Okay? So it doesn't negate that principle. That principle is always and still is in full effect. Okay? So it still has its origin in the mind. It still has its point of reference. It still starts within the activated psyche of your mind. So that's how you got to look at it, because sometimes when people will hear, or they might have, outside of hearing me say it, might have read or heard some, when they say that, oh, these people, these spirits and demons are literal, they actually exist. See, sometimes people will run with that and then turn it back into spookism. We're worshiping mystery and spook gods that are not real. Okay? Now, the sad thing is people will sit here and think, and mainly religious folks will think we're crazy for our nonconformist approach. Right? But if you question them and the tables will turn real quick because they can't do it without getting spooky. If you turn to them and say, prove to me your biblical God is real and he exists. And how do you even know it's a he? But let's just say, for shits and giggles, it is. Prove to me. Okay? That your monotheistic biblical God exists. They're not going to really be able to do it if they were honest with themselves. They're not. Because they're going to struggle, they're going to dance around the question, or they're going to moose it, or give you some bullshit story. They're going to do something. Because the bottom line is, they can't prove or validate any of it, other than what's written by men in their holy books. So-called holy books, I should say, because ain't nothing holy about it. But that's the issue. That's the problem. Okay? And I'm trying to get you to see the dynamics of this, because people struggle with this. Should I establish my relationships with the spirits and demons? Are they actual literal beings? Are they entities that are separate and have their own individual? Yes, all of that shit. Okay? But how they manifest, or how they take shape and form, and how you experience them, that's where now, there's different, roads, different paths, because everybody's going to have different experiences when it comes to that. Okay? So, I mean, it's no different where somebody can claim to have a vision of a spirit or a demon, right? This person's describing it, what they saw looking like this, that, and the other. This person's describing it a completely different way. This person's describing it this and that. So which one's right? If we're looking at it literally, they're all right, because they all manifested how the individual that was working with it needed to see it. That's it. Okay? Because when you're saying, how can that be? You're still stuck in the belief of that monotheistic God, which is going to kill you. It's going to hinder your spiritual growth and your understanding. Okay? So that's very important and critical, to understand. And your focus, again, I want to make this clear, should be embodying what the deity or spirit represents. The consciousness also, or the knowledge that's connected to that spirit. When you absorb the energy of that spirit and become and embody it, that's now when you're taking it to a whole nother level. Right? Because again, we don't worship anything. We don't smack tambourines. We don't pray and jump around and say shamalama ding dong and mama say mama sama makusa and all that shit and pretend like we're speaking in tongues and this, that, and the other. Right? All of those things are for people who are trapped in the lesser schools of mysticism. Okay? We're what they call, or we are supposed to be on the point of accelerating beyond that. Okay? We have to leave behind that monotheistic religious approach to the spirits and the demons. Because if you approach it like that, and as I said in the past, and they sense fear or inferiority in you, they're going to run you ragged into the ground. They're going to take advantage of you every which way, shape, and form. Okay? So you must always approach this particular topic with a clear mind. A clear mind to absorb the truth. Okay? Not somebody else's reality on this. So you get to a point, if you stay on this path consistently in your journey, your experiences with the manifestation of these spirits, whether it's in your ritual work, meditations, or sometimes the shit can just randomly happen. That's how it works. Okay? So you have to do your due diligence. It's about having the knowledge and awareness of what deity is, and also what deity or god or goddess is not. See, that's the hard part. Okay, so if you embrace in your mind that it's, as I said before, it's, the traditional being in the white robe and, and you're looking always just for a vision, then yeah, you're going to struggle with this. Your understanding with this is going to be very limited. Okay? But the point being is, the answer to that question, are they real? 150% yes. Okay? They are just as real as you make them. Okay? So I want to be clear on that and establishing that. All right? I am at my 9 rounds Tuesday late morning workout. So that's going to wrap up this first video. Hopefully this video, this short tutorial helped you in regards to that. I'm going to probably be shooting at least 1 or 2 more of these today. But again, if you need to reach me, KHNUM19@gmail.com. If you are interested in booking a spiritual reading or a consultation, shoot me an email there. I'll send you that info. Same thing. Send an email to that same address if you're interested in registering or signing up for the 6th annual Journey of the Black Adept Conference. Also, the Primordial Chaos podcast is now available on Spotify and all major podcast platforms. So you can get that direct link to the podcast, which is in the description box of the video, along with the patreon.com/Baniti, which is the link to the Patreon page in order to sign up for those classes if you're interested in the classes that I do. And the email address also is in the description box of the video if you have to reach out to me for any of the aforementioned. Other than that, that's going to wrap it up for this video. We will talk soon. Infernal blessings.